Welcome to the Celebrate Recovery 101 YouTube channel. This video is part 2 of lesson number 2 from the book Stepping Out of Denial into God's Grace, Participant Guide 1 of Celebrate Recovery. And the video will cover the 9 questions in the lesson's Write About It section. And at the end of the last section, it told us that before we begin the 9 questions, that we are to read the prayer for serenity on page 14. And that prayer is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. Now, our section of Write About It, the questions begin with this one. List some of the ways that your pride has stopped you from asking for and getting the help you need to overcome your hurts, hang-ups, and habits. List some of the ways that your pride has stopped you from asking for and getting the help you need to overcome your hurts, hang-ups, and habits. The second question is, what in your past has caused you to have the if-onlys? For example, if only I had stopped blank years ago. If only blank hadn't left me. What in your past has caused you to have the if-onlys? Question number 3. Instead of worried about things that we cannot control, we need to focus on what God can do in our lives. What are you worrying about, and why? Again, question 3 is, instead of worrying about things that we cannot control, we need to focus on what God can do in our lives. What are you worrying about, and why? Question number 4. In what ways have you tried to escape your past pain? Be specific. In what ways have you tried to escape your past pain? Be specific. Question 5 in the lesson on Powerless. How has holding on to your anger and your resentments affected you? How has holding on to your anger and your resentments affected you? Question 6. Do you believe that loneliness is a choice? Why or why not? How has your denial isolated you from your important relationships? Question 7. Describe the emptiness you feel and some new ways you are finding to fill it. Question 8. Selfishness is at the heart of most problems between people. In what areas of your life have you been selfish? And finally, question 9 in the lesson on Powerless. Separation from God can feel very real, but it is never permanent. What can you do to get closer to God? We'll end with the Principle 1 verses. There are 8 of them on page 31 of the Stepping Out of Denial into God's Grace, Participant Guide number 1. Jeremiah 6:14 says, you can't heal a wound by saying it's not there. Ecclesiastes 11:4 says, if you wait for perfect conditions, you will never get anything done. Job 30:27 says, my heart is troubled and restless. Waves of affliction have come upon me. Romans 7:15 through 17 says, I don't understand myself at all, for I really want to do what is right, but I can't. I do what I don't want to do, what I hate. I know perfectly well that what I am doing is wrong, and my bad conscience proves that I agree with these laws I am breaking. But I can't help myself because I am no longer doing it. It is sin inside me that is stronger than I am that makes me do these evil things. Proverbs 14:12, before every man there lies a wide and pleasant road that seems right, but ends in death. Job 17:11, my good days are in the past. My hopes have disappeared. My heart's desires are broken. Psalm 6:6 through 7, I am worn out with pain. Every night my pillow is wet with tears. My eyes are growing old and dim with grief because of all my enemies. And finally, 2 Corinthians 1:9 says, we felt we were doomed to die and saw how powerless we were to help ourselves.